We will cut your taxes, we will protect your pension, and we will defend this nation.
Please clap.
For a more secure future, vote Conservative.
Hello people, and welcome back to My Left Eye. That clip pretty much sums up the lack of enthusiasm for the Tories who released their manifesto earlier this week. Labour released their own yesterday, and I'm sure viewers will know already that it's less than inspiring, especially compared to the manifesto they had 5 years ago, but Keith doesn't seem to know that. Here's what he said about it at the time.
So here we are, it's Euston Station, just about 7 o'clock in the morning, about to get a train to meet the rest of the Shadow Cabinet and Jeremy Corbyn in Birmingham to launch our manifesto. I think in this election, what I'm hearing is people really want change. They want to end the inequality that they see. They just want decency and dignity. And that's what this manifesto is about. Real change, ambitious change, and ambition to meet the needs. Please have a read of it and vote Labour. And
this is him now.
And they're building this sort of Jeremy Corbyn-style manifesto where anything you want can go in it. None of it is costed. It's a recipe for more of the same.
He's trying to claim that he's now trashing Labour under Corbyn because he knew they wouldn't win. And even if that is true, then it's because he's the one who changed the party's stance on the EU and left Corbyn to take the rap for it.
And so I can tell you today, an incoming Labour government will legislate for a referendum immediately on taking power and hold that referendum within 6 months.
When Sunak and Starmer appeared on the second live debate earlier this week, Keith looked completely rattled, failing to properly answer awkward questions about his time as leader of the opposition, and gave the same abysmal responses as the Tories normally do. He was called out for having no ambitions for public investment, and even went as far as using a "tough choices lie ahead" line, but still having the neck to imply that a government with himself at the helm would bring change. Lacking any policies that set himself apart from the Tories, and with the personality of a damp flannel, there are very few people feeling a sense of hope when they see Starmer speaking or scan over his intentions for government. But there is a party putting out a set of excellent policies and setting an example for real change: the Green Party. They released their manifesto on Wednesday, and I have to say I find it by far the most impressive of all of the ones released by existing parliamentary parties. Of course, there are lots of environmental policies in there, but specifically, there are ones that will actually make a formative difference, are highly ambitious but achievable, and fundamentally, they call for an end to new fossil fuel licences and for current projects such as Rosebank to be immediately scrapped. That's not all though. On the whole, the social policies are highly impressive, with effective taxes on the wealthy to pay for public services, including an overhaul of public transport, which Mick Lynch is definitely on board with.
Mick Lynch, is there anything you've heard there that you don't like, or is the Green Party in that perspective something you could get behind?
Well, we think the Green Party have got some interesting ideas. I think Labour should be braver on their tax approach, and there should be more of a debate about progressive tax right across the parties. I don't follow this line that every business is going to be discouraged. There's a lot of accumulated wealth that should be taxed, not wealth that's being generated. It's just accumulated with the wrong people. There are some mega wealthy people in this country who should pay more tax. And as a percentage, they pay less tax than ordinary people. So that should be worked out. I like their public transport policy, and I just wish Labour would look at some of these ideas and be more bold in their approach.
I talked about this in a bit more detail on the last Brews at 10 live stream. If you missed that one, then please hit the link at the top of the screen or check out the live tab on the channel. Also, please subscribe and hit the like button to help us reach a wider audience. Regular viewers will already be aware that I'm currently predicting the Greens to win at least 5 seats on July the 4th. They are fighting against first past the post, and even by their own admission, they know they probably won't be elected into government this time round.
Now, we're not expecting to form the next government. We're realistic about that too. But when the Conservatives are booted out of number 10 on the 4th of July and Labour take over, we plan to be there in Parliament in greater numbers to speak up for you on the issues you care about.
Unfortunately, it may take another 5 years of wallowing in neoliberal mire before voters start to really move away from the so-called main three parties in England, and especially where the environment's concerned, we may have passed several irreversible tipping points by then, but we'll need a party who will be willing to take the actions required to limit the damage, which I imagine we wouldn't from Sunak, Starmer or Davey. You can take a look at the manifesto for yourself. I'll post a link in the description of this video, and I'll be going into individual policies in more detail in my upcoming content, as I will be for other parties alike. But at the moment, I'm impressed with the stall that they've laid out, as well as how they've come across in the media and in the live debates. Carla Denyer really hit the nail on the head with this one after a prolonged back and forth between Angela Rayner and Penny
Please clap.
Mordaunt.
Are you going to take out of your manifesto?
We've been
Which ones
clear
you
how
did?
we would pay for our
No, you
manifesto.
haven't.
Okay, it's
So
time.
we said that we would level
It's time
private
to hear from the
schools,
others.
pay for our
Angela Rayner,
teachers.
it's time to hear from the others. Carla Denyer.
Well, that was terribly dignified, wasn't it?
Co-leader Adrian Ramsey has also been impressive in interviews, and together they seem to instill a sense of optimism that as a nation we've definitely been lacking for some time now. They have candidates in almost every seat, but there might be concerns that left-wing votes could split in seats where the Greens are also standing against the Workers' Party of Britain candidates and Socialist Independents, with other grassroots parties thrown into the mix as well. I'd like to know your thoughts about that too, so please add a comment below, and I'll do my best to keep up with all of your comments and respond to as many as possible. Given how similar the main parties in England are at the moment, I think it's fundamentally important for voters to remember a couple of things when going to the ballot. First of all, you are registering a vote, not betting on who you think will win. Every time there's an election, people get a chance for change, and the government, majorities, parties in power can be reset. But this is a fact that has surpassed a lot of people's consciousness. Rather than thinking, oh, Labour have a chance because they've won elections before, voters should always go with the party that matches their beliefs and ideas the closest, however big or small that party may be. If you want to bet on the outcome, then go to a bookmaker's. But if you want a socialist government, then you'll have to vote for it. Otherwise you get a piss-poor selection that we have at the moment, and a quagmire of tactical voting in marginal seats that turns into an utter shit show. The other point is, this is not football team rules, or other sports if you prefer. However many times you've voted for a party in the past, if you hold unwavering loyalty to that party, then you can bet your arse that you'll be taken for granted. The best recent example being Starmer parachuting in his cronies from the NEC into constituencies far from where they actually live, while other candidates are shoved out of the back door. Take North Durham, for example, where all-round ghoul and recent Planet Mercury vacationist Luke Akehurst has been shoehorned into standing for Labour. Safe to say that residents are less than impressed, and this may be reflected in the voting there. Also, Akehurst's strong pro-Zionist stance would be a big factor in the North East seat. That's why it's currently a potential one to watch on my list of hot seats, along with the ones you can see on your screen right now. Just quickly, speaking of Zionists, Windbag Luke here was also recently revealed to have said some anti-Semitic remarks in recorded video calls in the past, which is even more insulting as he was part of the manufactured scam against Corbyn in the run-up to the last election. If you think that this is a worthy enough reason to be added to the hot seat list, then let me know, people. Also on that subject, it goes to show how rattled the mainstream media get with actual left-wing parties as the BBC began an interview with the Green spokes on the morning rounds of the manifesto being released by harping on about how a couple of candidates stepped down after being accused of anti-Semitic remarks. The reality was that they simply criticised Israel or had been on a ceasefire demo. However, the media look set to try and jump on the Green Party, which probably tells you they must be doing something right. While I don't officially endorse any specific party here on My Left Eye, I still encourage people to vote for a grassroots socialist party or independent, or otherwise the Greens. They look set to hold Brighton and gain Bristol, and they're also appearing to be winning a two-horse race in Birkenhead, with more likely to follow. If there are any other seats that you think I should keep an eye on, then let me know down below. I just want to finish by pointing out that the Greens are making a massive push for proportional representation as well, something that would steer us away from first past the post and means that more votes would actually count, with so many being wasted in a system that's so outdated that we're one of only 2 European countries to still use it, as Carla Denyer pointed out on last night's 7-Way Leaders live debate. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons to help us out on the algorithm. You can now join the channel with a membership for just 99p with some great perks for you to enjoy, including exclusive content and early viewings, plus lots more. And you get to join the list of awesome people who support the channel that you can see on your screen right now. Hit the join button or follow the links in the channel description. If you'd like to make a one-off contribution, then please hit super thanks on the video or follow the link to our Buy Me a Coffee page, where you can help to show solidarity and support the channel for just the price of a tasty hot beverage. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Thanks again everyone. My Left Eye, be seeing you soon.